Yes, my G's. Got a nice video for you guys today. This one is a request from Popper DNB. Hey, my G, do you reckon you could do a tutorial on bringing the mid basses forward in the mix? I just can't seem to get them at the front of the mix. Yes, I can. And thank you for your comment. And thank you to everyone else who leaves me comments and video ideas as well. I do benefit from those sometimes. So it's great for you guys to leave specific video requests and specific comments like that, because sometimes it's a great idea for a video, you know? And so here are a few tips for how to get your mid basses to come to the front of the mix, because that's where they should be, right? Because mids or mid basses, I'm basing this tutorial on the fact that you're asking about mid basses, right? In drum and bass, neurofunk, whatever genre really, mid basses are the lead element essentially, you know, so they should be at the front. So it's right to question, why they're not being at the front. I mean, because they should be. Anyway, let's have a slurp and then we'll get into it. Slurp-de-diddly-do. So the main thing first to make sure is that you've got a good mid bass. So you've gone and downloaded my new preset pack from Serum called Motion, and you've got Gangster Pete involved, and Gangster Pete is just sounding like this. So this is like a mid bass with a sub underneath it as well, but the same concept applies. Okay. So firstly, make sure you got a good mid bass. You can see on span here what it kind of looks like. It's very full. It's got a lot of content in the mid area, which is where it should have as well, and it's also got a full high end as well. If the high end wasn't full, it would be hard to have the mids at the front of the mix, okay? Because they need presence and brightness on them as well. So you need the mid-range content in the sound to begin with, and you need the high end in it as well. If you're missing too much of either of those, then it's going to be hard for it to be at the front of the mix. So make sure you've got that involved firstly. Once you've got that involved, then you can mix it in to the rest of the track better, But so I've got my mid bass here. Again, it's a sub bass underneath it, but it's still, still the mid bass is in there as well. Here's a little beat with a couple of extra sounds that I've just combined together to create this loop, which is unmixed so far. The first thing I'm going to do to mix it in is I'm firstly just going to tidy up my kick and snare sidechain. So on my mid bass, and this is not to help it come to the front of the mix, this is just because it's sort of, smart to do that anyway, is I've just put a kick sidechain and a snare sidechain, just to let the kick and snare cut through a bit more, because it's going to just help with the overall mix, right? Okay, so that's the first thing done. Now let's talk about actually bringing the mid basses closer to the front of the mix, right? So, if they're playing on their own, assuming that it's a good sound that's powerful and has high end in and mid-range content, it's already at the front, right? It's already there. It should already be at the front, okay? And so basically, it's done. It's done. It was at the front. Just solo it, and it's fine. Now, the issue is, it's not at the front so much anymore amongst everything else. So you have to find what it's clashing with and sidechain it. Basically, that's the quickest and easiest way to do it. So what you can do is you can think about what's clashing with it, right? So I've got these percussive parts to my drums. Can solo them together with the mid bass. I have lost a bit of the clarity of the mid bass because of these, So what I'm going to do is put on a sidechain again on the whole sort of percussion group. And I'm finding an area where they're sort of clashing here. And it's great in this sort of 300 area. That's sort of where the conflict is. So you're just basically going to solve all of the conflicts in your mix so that the mid bass has priority always, okay? So it's mainly about giving it priority in the mid range. All right, because it's a lead instrument, it needs to be dominant in the mid-range. So anything else that's got mid-range in, you're going to have to take some of that out to give the mid-bass enough space. So taking out some on the those drums there. Then we can also check. I threw in this little lead just for an example. If you've got like a sort of background lead going on as well, that's not the sort of mid-bass, and together, again, it kind of weakens the mid-bass, right? So we have to sidechain then this sound as well, because this sound is conflicting, and you might have a different spot around here, but it's quite close to the where I did the drums as well, 300. Now, if you give the mid bass enough space to do its job in the mid range and to dominate in the mid range area, you know, if the mid bass has enough space to dominate there, it should naturally sort of carry its high end through with it, you know? So that's always the key area that you got to make space for in the mid range. Okay, so once that's done, it's getting slightly better, right? Much better, right? But what you can notice as well, if you really pay close attention here to the cymbals, and again, these don't have much mid-range in, but if you listen carefully with the mid-bass here, if I take them off, I actually lose a lot of clarity on the mid-bass against the cymbals as well. So again, it's another conflict zone. So this time we're going to go in on the cymbals, and obviously they don't have much mid-range in, so it's actually going to be the high end that's actually conflicting with the mid-bass here in this example. And so here we got at about 1.5k. So the conflict is a bit higher up here, you know. With that on, it shifts the mid-bass forward, puts the cymbals slightly behind it, okay? Because you still want, even in the high end, the mid-bass to sort of have priority as well, you know? So the key thing is always, as I mentioned, in the actual mid-range, you know, in this area here, this sort of 300 to 800 area, you know? That's the real area where you want the mid-bass to absolutely have dominance, you know? But it does want to have... the high end of it also wants to have a good level, like, how can I say? The high end levels also need to be matching well, you know? You need to sort of, it's not like gain staging, but you need the perception to be right as well. You need to have like one sound in front of the other, you know? And so if the cymbals are like too loud and in front of the mid bass, then obviously the mid bass isn't in front, you know? But like, you should want the mid bass to be a bit in front of the cymbals, you know? So that's the key. So putting that in again, you know, now we got that F6 on there, and you don't have to use the F6, obviously. Any sidechain tool will work, but multi-band sidechains are better because you can be more precise on where the conflicts are, you know? But yeah, it kind of just lifts the mid bass up in front of the cymbals even more. So that's really, really nice. And then all together, we could do a bit of volume kind of, yeah, adjustments as well. Like this kind of lead could come down a little bit. That's going to give the mid bass a bit more space as well. But yeah, that's basically it. That's really it. And you know, if I turn off, this is going to be difficult to kind of do an A/B. But if I turn off all the sidechains I just put on, you can hear it again. Now we'll slap them all back on again, and hopefully you'll be able to notice that the mix is much, much nicer now. You can really hear that mid bass well again. And notice I haven't over reverbed the mid bass either. That's another thing that you can quickly do. You can. There's another thing that you can really mess up really easily. You know, over reverbing the mid bass. So basically, to recap then, you know, Great mid-bass sound with a full spectrum. Okay, lots of mid-range content and high-end to begin with. High-quality sound. You must have that first. Okay. Secondly, don't over-reverb it, because if you do, you will sort of drown the sound out and it'll push it further back, so it's not going to be as upfront and personal as you want it, you know. So don't over-reverb it either. And then finally, the key thing, as I showed you here in this demonstration, is to give that mid-bass the priority always. You have to always take away from the other sounds, you know, because the mid-bass is the key feature in this kind of track, you know. So you have to solve the conflicts between everything that it fights with, you know. So it fights with the drums, it fights with the other leads, it fights even with the hats and the cymbals. So you have to just feel where the sort of feel where it's sitting in relation to everything else, and use targeted multiband sidechaining to, again, each sort of one step at a time, bring the mid bass back to the front, you know, because obviously the other sounds are masking it, you know. So it's just peeling off those masks like one piece at a time, and it's usually going to be, like I showed you here, it's going to be from a variety of sources that you have to fix, you know. So it's not like a one fix thing. It's like from everything. You need to stage your mid bass to come further and further in front by solving those individual conflicts, you know, in a subtle way. You know, you don't have to go overboard with the side chaining, but just doing it right on each one, you know. That's it. So I hope that was a helpful video for you guys today. Thanks for the video request, and leave a comment if that helped you out. Thank you very much for watching, my G's. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the links in my video as well for preset packs for Vital, Serum, Faceplant and Current. Also, hit me up for one-on-one lessons as well. My calendar is down below. Send me an email if you want mixing and mastering done on your track as well. And finally, come along and join me on Patreon if my videos help you out, you want to support a bit. You can also join as a free member over there, get some free downloads, and then if you want to upgrade and join our Discord, you can get involved with all the other members in the community, get feedback on your tracks, join our group live streams and much more. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very soon. Much love.